Well, a new Alien Earth trailer and featurette has just dropped, showing us a lot of tidbits on what we can expect for this new show, including a creature that honestly is 10 times more terrifying than the xenomorph in concept to me. This thing is freaking disgusting, and potentially showing us a new creature, one of the 5 alien species that we haven't seen yet on camera. And finally we get to know what the hell is the deal with the goat. What's the deal with this fucking goat? I'm getting right down to this shit, alright? I don't give a fuck anymore. Let's go over what we know so far from the information we've received from the Alien Earth trailers and everything that's been talked about in interviews, okay? This takes place after Prometheus, before Alien. Although I've heard conflicting reports about this, because apparently the director himself doesn't even know when the hell in the timeline this takes place, but as far as I'm concerned, that's when it takes place. After the shit with David, before Ellen Ripley and her team discover it, which on surface makes absolutely no sense at all, but we'll get to it. Weyland-Yutani, I hope I'm pronouncing it right, and even then I'm probably not pronouncing it. I'm bad with names. A lot of people came at me for pronouncing the name wrong in my Predator video, but it's the Coke, guys. Weyland-Yutani has been exploring the universe, trying to get artifacts and life forms. And basically something happened to the ship. They got crashed into, seemingly from here, they crashed into something. And the wreckage caused them to crash on Prodigy City. Alright? And on this ship there are 5 new species from the darkest corners of the universe. I think 5 including the xenomorph, or at least a facehugger, but I could be wrong. Maybe 5 outside of the xenomorph, who knows? And we're not dealing with Weyland-Yutani as the head corporation of the story here. Instead, it's Prodigy Corporation, led by this dude who is a Mark Zuckerberg clone who looks evil. What he's and his company are doing are trying to get human beings, especially dying children, to transition into being synthetics. We got a bunch of kids whose consciousness are being uploaded into the body synthetics. What could go fucking wrong with that? Who knows? And these synthetics are ultra strong, ultra fast, ultra powerful, and they have blades coming out of their hands or some shit. I'm telling you, the aliens are not going to be the only problems in this show. We got kids who are in powerful AI bodies. But let's get to the damn organisms, because as soon as our Mark Zuckerberg 2.0 hears about this, he's like, I want what's in that ship. He tells one of his synthetics, I want what's in that ship. And on surface level, you think, okay, he wants the alien life forms so he can study and experiment on them. That's what these companies do. All these corporations are fucking idiots. But I believe there's something else on the ship too. Not just the alien life forms, but something else that a guy like him would really want to use, especially someone who loves the creation of life. We're going to get to that. Now, what are these alien organisms? Let's take a look at all the 5. I'm going to assume that the xenomorph is one of the 5 that they're referring to in the trailer, but I could be wrong. So the xenomorph, we have the marquee money shot of the trailer. So seeing a xenomorph on Earth in the caves. Do you think the crawlers from the Descent are bad? Imagine fucking with this thing when you're in the caves. Terrifying. But there's apparently one xenomorph in this season. We're not going to see multiple. You're going to see one that's terrorizing everybody. I'm not against it. This might disappoint some fans who are like, oh, this is an alien show, we're not going to have more than one alien. That's okay, guys. We've seen the story of multiple xenomorphs on Earth before. It's called AVPR, just so you know. So, luckily for us, he brought some friends. Which brings us to the other 4 deadly organisms upon this ship that are about to break loose and cause havoc. We have T. ocellus, this octopus being with eyeballs that infiltrates your ocular nerves, replaces your eyeball, and controls the fuck out of you, your entire body, hijacks you like a parasite. That's what happens to the poor old goat here. They're experimenting him with the T. ocellus alien, who breaks free and starts latching himself onto everything, including this chick. He's probably going to infiltrate her brain and make her attack other people. I don't know if he can do this to synthetics, probably not. He can probably only do this to organic life, but this is terrifying. Because the xenomorphs, yeah, the facehugger will impregnate you, and the xenomorphs will come out and just start killing you and eating you, and then putting you in a hive for further impregnation. That's a terrifying concept, but the fact that this thing latches inside of you, replaces one of your eyeballs, and controls you with its tentacles. It's the tentacle ones. It's the tentacle ones that get to me. I have fears about these things. I had a fear of one last night crawling towards me, and it was a sock. My rooms tend to be very messy. So I have a bunch of things lying around in my room, and one of these objects, in my dreams, it's always represented as a tentacle alien. It's a sign from the cosmos that I need to start cleaning my room and stop being such a fucking idiot degenerate, but it gets to me, y'all. Then we have the plant alien. This, I forgot what it's called. We'll get to it. But this plant alien, I thought this was a thing that controlled people's minds. And it does in a different way. But this creature, it's kind of like an egg itself, like an ovomorph egg, and then it opens up. And the openings look like fingers. And then it consumes its prey in a variety of ways. According to whatever the hell this thing is, the science officer has given it the name of the plumbicaire due to the use of mucilage to lure unsuspecting prey, to sense stamina to sense prey, and a pattern of leaves which form a mouth. And apparently this thing can alter the conditions in the atmosphere so that it fucks with its prey. And it's been seen eating nearby flora. I don't know what that, okay, this is a complicated creature, but it's an alien plant, essentially. Now, there are 3 ways it kills its victims. Asphyxiation, or just sucks you up and dissolves you, which is just horrifying, or it just exhausts you while it's tangling with you, I guess. Or it exhausts you by altering the conditions of your atmosphere. Maybe it fucks with the oxygen or something. Enzymatic breakdown begins upon the victim's death. And apparently, I've heard that it attracts people to it. Maybe it fucks with humans' pheromones or something like that. Maybe it fucks with pheromones and draws people to it, which is why a corporation like the Prodigy Corporation probably wants it really badly, because that's a really nice weapon to have in your arsenal. Number 3 is this slug thing. You see the slug thing crawling up this dude's face? I don't know if this is a separate alien, or maybe it's a progeny of one of the other aliens. It could be. It might be the alien residing within the plant, or it could be something else. Who knows? Now, I don't know, we don't see much of this creature. We do see these things moving in the background, but we don't know what it is, because these look much bigger than the slug. Maybe the slug grows into something else. I don't know. This is the first time I'm seeing it. We don't know much about it. Number 4, whatever the hell is in this container, a flying insect alien of some kind. Okay? This insect did whatever that is. What the hell is that? That is not a xenomorph egg. Okay, that's not a xenomorph hive. No, this is a gestation process from a different being. I believe it looks like alien larvae. I think the insect did this to people and probably is creating hatchlings within them. It's a very similar creature to the xenomorph in that regard, but this thing can fucking fly on you. That's what makes it even more terrifying, in my opinion. It's incubating something within you. Maybe the slugs come from the insect's incubation process and then grow into flying alien creatures themselves, which would be terrifying, which then leaves the question of what is the 5th organism? Who knows? The interesting thing about the insect is we have not seen it. They're not showing it us. We see it in short bursts when it's in the container cracking out, but we don't see what it is. We don't see what it looks like. They're keeping it hidden for a reason. I think this is a very special one, y'all. Now, the main question is, are these creatures, there's a theory that all these creatures are actually strains from the xenomorph. They're created from the xenomorph. They're related to it biologically. Here's my problem with this. I like the idea of all these aliens being from separate different worlds across galaxies, across the freaking universe that Weyland-Yutani has collected over the course of years. I don't like the idea that they all came from one being, like they all came from David's experiments when he was creating xenomorphs or refining the engineer's process. I don't like that. That's too convenient, let's wrap it all up in a nice little bow and create a cool twist. That would be a lazy, stupid, ridiculous twist, in my opinion. Now, that doesn't mean David still isn't involved in the story to some capacity. His legacy still lives on. But I like the idea of these creatures being separate, and maybe them conjoining at the end. We're going to get to that. We see people, bodies, corpses that look sick. I don't know if you can see this. The lighting is horrible on this. He looks sick. We see people who are, there looks like the blood has been sucked from them and their eyes are like this and they're veiny. They have black veins. Now, I was thinking, I thought maybe it could be a virus, could be some kind of infection that's spreading as a cause of one of these aliens, or maybe it's the T. ocellus creature sucking the blood out of them or something. I don't know. Maybe the insect or the flying insect that's sucking on them. I think there's something more at play here. Remember what I said about this guy? How he doesn't want just the life forms from the ship, but there's something else on board the ship that he wants? From Weyland-Yutani, who we know for a fact has picked up data and been in contact with guys like David, who have used the pathogen. I believe that there's a refined version of the pathogen aboard this ship that they were using to experiment with. I know people are going to go mad. Don't leave, okay? Don't leave. I know a lot of people hate the pathogen plot because it's used as this convenient weapon that can do anything, and it reminds them too much of the trauma they faced when watching Alien Covenant. But hear me out. The pathogen can be used correctly, but its usage will have a very specific function in this show, all right? I believe the pathogen was found by Weyland-Yutani when they also found the xenomorph eggs, probably on some planet where David was dead and had this laboratory filled with these creatures, and he called them to them. So in the pursuit of collecting all these organisms, they also collected this, and they found the pathogen and started using it. They're like, oh shit, this thing rapidly evolves and mutates things. There's a variety of uses for this. I believe that the pathogen, either by Weyland-Yutani, and maybe our characters find that process, or it's now being recreated by the Prodigy Corporation. I believe that the pathogen is being used for a new gestation process that crosses the DNA of the 5 organisms, a new hybrid. I mentioned this in my other Alien Earth video. I truly think that's what's happening. They've been teasing the gestation of some creature, and I don't think it's just a xenomorph. I think it's something else where the xenomorph will be the base, the predominant base DNA, but all these creatures will be factored into it, creating an abomination of the highest order. And the Prodigy Corporation will be at the head of this. They will be wanting to do this more than anyone else. Fusing all these creatures together to create a terrifying being, the worst we've ever seen. Listen, we need a reason for why nobody knew about the xenomorphs at the time of the first Alien movie. Nobody on the Nostromo knew, and why Weyland was so secret about it, but they knew exactly where to go. And I believe one link to that could be, okay, they picked up these organisms from a planet that David was on and found them, okay? That's Alien Earth. Then shit backfires on them. These creatures get out, and then a hybrid is born that kills everybody, and they have to nuke the city, I guess, or something, maybe. Weyland-Yutani finds the data from the archives of Prodigy Corporation and is like, okay, we know this shit works. We know these aliens exist. Okay, cool. We're gonna send a team low-key back to the planet that we found them on in the first place. And maybe that's where Ellen Ripley's character and her crew come in. They're going to be creating something in the show that's an abomination of the highest order. The worst hybrid we've ever seen, ever. I'm telling you guys. And there's a shot of a butterfly on a flower at the end of this. Butterflies can represent life, death. I believe this is representing a fucking metamorphosis. It's symbolically representing the metamorphosis of not only these creatures, but a new one. And obviously, metamorphosis of characters like humans who are going into synthetic bodies, blah, blah. Now, here's a theory of mine. Weyland-Yutani has been going across galaxies trying to collect organisms. What if this same ship has encountered a specific planet? What if this ship went to a specific planet, like it has been, collecting organisms across the universe, and went to one, but it had to abort the mission here? What if there was a colony here that came into contact with an alien life form that killed them all, and Weyland-Yutani sent this ship to come here? When they saw what they found, they're like, fuck, we gotta leave. This is a death planet. They left behind a little beacon for them to use later. A synthetic. And apparently she has a twin sister. Apparently, I didn't even know this, but she has a twin sister synthetic. Maybe one of them is a Weyland's special robot used to infiltrate the mission of a Yaoja, using her to get to their final life form, which either is the apex predator that's built up in the trailer for Predator Badlands, or the Yaoja himself, who is the most human-esque alien that Weyland-Yutani maybe has ever come across ever. It's just a theory, y'all. I can't prove it. But you gotta think, Weyland-Yutani, why would they not want a Yaoja? Earth has come across these Yaoja before, if we're doing the AVP lore, which I don't know how necessarily I want the first few AVPs to be in this canon. I like the idea of Yaojas and Xenomorphs coming across each other subtly in the future. I don't know if I'd want a straight up crossover yet, anyways. But I like the idea that Weyland-Yutani knows about the Yaoja and really wants to look into them. Maybe they wanted this guy to be one of their 5 organisms, the main guy. But they couldn't get to him because this planet was just too fucked up. Who knows? I'm just saying. It's just a theory. Because I'm a cokehead schizophrenic, alright? But those are my thoughts on the Alien Earth footage that we found now. If you want to know my thoughts on what the Predator Badlands trailer really is secretly about and what it really shows us is happening, you can watch this video over here. Ladies and gentlemen, we are on a mission to take over Hollywood. But the army must keep growing. If you want to suggest video topics to me, or talk about your favorite movies or favorite film theories in a community with like-minded individuals, join the Zafy Discord now. Link is in the description and the comment section as well. Join us. This movement is just beginning. We're taking over Hollywood, one coke line at a time.